Today, let's now have a look at one of the Queen's most treasured personal jewels, her diamond serpent necklace. The necklace is a classic style popular in the Victorian and Edwardian eras. Snakes are often viewed as symbols of transformation and immortality, constantly shedding the old to make way for the new. Numerous royals, both historical and in the present day, have embraced serpentine symbolism in their jewelry. For example, Queen Victoria's engagement ring was snake-shaped, and Queen Alexandra often wore a gold serpent bracelet. Hello and welcome to Royal Scandal. Please do well to like, subscribe, comment and turn on the notification bell so as not to miss out on any news updates. Queen Camilla's necklace is likely a 20th century piece. In the autumn of 2023, Buckingham Palace shared some information about its provenance. The necklace was made by Van Cleef and Arpels, one of Camilla's favorite jewelers. But while many of Camilla's VCNA pieces are new acquisitions, the necklace is a family heirloom from her adored grandmother. It's unlikely that the grandmother referenced is her father's mother, Edith Harrington Shantippet, because when Edith died in 1981, she did not have a great deal of personal property. It's more likely that the necklace, like several other jewels from Camilla's collection, comes from her maternal family. Her mother, Rosalind Cubit, was the daughter of Roland Cubit, the 3rd Baron Ashcombe, and his first wife, the writer and socialite Sonia Rosemary Keppel. Sonia was born in 1900, 2 years after her mother, Alice Keppel, became one of the mistresses of King Edward VII. Sonia's rather unusual first name was given in honor of her godmother, the Countess de Torby, the morganatic wife of Grand Duke Michael Mihailovich of Russia. At the time of her baptism, the Morning Leader wrote, "If she has not precisely come into this world with a silver spoon in her mouth, little Miss Keppel has done better, for she arrived provided with a diamond brooch and divers pearl ornaments, while at her christening her godfather, Sir Henry Keppel, put a string of pearls round her neck." Much of Sonia's youth was spent in the center of splendid British high society, thanks both to her mother's relationship with the king and the connections of her paternal uncle, the Earl of Albemarle. Sonia called the monarch Kingy. Things changed somewhat when Kingy died in 1910. The Keppels, no longer regular figures at court, headed for Asia, where they traveled with their daughters for 2 years. From then, the family divided their time between Britain and the continent. George and Alice eventually bought a palazzo in Florence, where they hosted guests that included numerous exiled royals. But Sonia would end up settling in England. Though her debut was delayed by the war, her name was a fixture in society columns as she came of age. In late 1918, just after the armistice, she began a romance with the Honourable Roland Cubit. Roland, called Raleigh by his family, was the 4th son of Lord Ashcombe, but he had suddenly and unexpectedly become heir to his father's title when all 3 of his elder brothers were killed in the war. Sonia and Roland were married at the Guards' Chapel, Wellington Barracks in London in November 1920. 10 months later, they welcomed a daughter, Rosalind, for whom Lord Ilchester and Dame Margaret Greveley stood as godparents. 2 sons, Henry and Jeremy, followed in 1924 and 1927. Little Harry was christened at the Guards' Chapel with Prince Henry, later Duke of Gloucester, as his godfather. He would eventually inherit the Ashcombe title. Sonia remained a popular figure in society. Portraits of her, both alone and with her children, were frequently published in British newspapers and magazines. In 1926, the sketch described her as one of the prettiest and most popular members of the younger set in society. She also inherited her mother's magnetic personality. In 1931, the Tatler described her as having a very independent turn of mind, characterizing her as a woman who does not suffer fools with any appreciable gladness. The Keppel family charm also appears to have been passed down to Sonia's daughter. Rosalind was named Debutante of the Year in 1939, just before World War II put an end to many of the traditional coming-out society events for good. The Daily Mirror wrote an article on Rosalind's debut that summer, describing her as dark and attractive with great charm combined with most perfect manners, which are unusual enough these days to arouse comment. King George VI and Queen Elizabeth were 2 of the guests at a dance given in Rosalind's honor that summer, just months before the start of the war. After the war's end, Rosalind Cubit met Major Bruce Shand, a decorated army veteran who had been taken prisoner by the Germans while fighting in Africa. They were married in January 1946, and their first daughter, Camilla Rosemary Shand, was born in July 1947. Just a few days before little Camilla's birth, Sonia Cubit was granted a divorce from her husband on the grounds that he had deserted the marriage in 1944. Roland went on to inherit the Ashcombe barony and marry twice more. Sonia never remarried, focusing her energy on her writing career. She published a memoir about her childhood, Edwardian daughter, in 1958, as well as an earlier novel about the period, Sister of the Sunday. She also penned The Sovereign Lady, a biography of Elizabeth, wife of the 3rd Baron Holland, and Three Brothers at Havana, 1762, a history of the Keppel family's involvement in the Siege of Havana. The extent of Sonia's personal jewelry collection isn't known, but one incident from 1966 suggests its depth. That November, a cat burglar scaled a drainpipe at Sonia's home, Hall Place in Hampshire, and made off with jewelry worth £9,000. That's something in the range of £200,000 today. When she died 2 decades later, Sonia left an estate worth £1.8 million, which would be around £7 million today. We know that some of Sonia's jewelry is certainly in Queen Camilla's collection today. Camilla occasionally wears the Cubit tiara, a legacy from Sonia, for gala occasions. And, with the confirmation from Buckingham Palace that the serpent necklace belonged to Camilla's grandmother, I think we can safely say that it also belonged to Sonia. Camilla has been wearing the necklace for gala occasions since before her royal wedding. For that dinner at the Ritz, and for many other occasions, Camilla has paired the serpent necklace with a pair of antique diamond floral earrings that also come from her personal collection. She wears the combination again here for the Man Booker Prize dinner in October 2014. Camilla also wore the earrings for her marriage blessing ceremony at St. George's Chapel, Windsor in April 2005. A year later, her daughter, Laura Lopez, wore the earrings with the Cubit tiara on her wedding day. Interestingly, there's another identical pair of earrings in another British jewelry collection, that of the Grosvenors, the family of the Duke of Westminster. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe.